For today's scraps only layout, I'm going to go to a sketch. Now this sketch is on the Creative Memories blog, or pages as they call it now. And it was from August 2023. It was one of the sizzling sketches, and I really love it. And I think it's perfect for using up some scraps. I will put a link to finding this sketch in the description box on this video. It calls for 2-inch wide strips put on an angle. Now, on the blog, I think they just used a sheet of pattern paper, the front side and the back side. But I like this idea of going through my scraps and using some of them. So I want to talk a moment about how I choose the papers for my scraps only layout. So I knew that I would be working with this sketch and I would need 2-inch wide strips. So I went into my collection of scraps, and here's my collection of scraps. They're sort of separated by colors. I try to keep the colors together. So as I was going through my colors, as you know, I'm monochromatic on a lot. And I was going to go monochromatic here to start off with. But as I was looking through my papers, I felt I didn't truly have enough in one single color to do what I wanted to do. And so I decided to pick 2 colors then. And so there's a lot of combinations that you can pick. And so I decided green and yellow. Why? No particular reason. I had a lot of green and I don't use a lot of yellow very much. So I wanted to put in some yellow on a layout. I think I'll have no problem finding photos. So that's the other thing I'm different about on this layout. I don't have photos yet. I may not have photos by the time I'm done with this, and that'll be fine. I will put this with my collection of base pages and later find photos. I don't expect to have a problem to find photos for a layout that uses these papers. So I chose these 2 colors. Other combinations, if I had not found enough paper in green and yellow, I thought of red and blue, red and green, red and yellow, purple and orange. Now pick 2 colors that you just like to go together. And I certainly may make this again. This is the type of layout that you can make over and over again using your scraps. I had brought in some other papers and I'm putting them to the side for now in case I need some extra paper. I very well may need more paper, but I have plenty. As you saw my collection of scraps, I'm not worried about running out on this layout. And I'm going to use the back side of a couple of index pages. I am running low on both index pages and refill pages, but we will fix that. I will get through this challenge before that happens. Let's get started making the layout. Now, I have right here the general order in which I think I will want my colors to go. And so that wasn't an essential first step, but it is the first step I'm taking here. There will have to be trimming. You know, this is wider than 2 inches. A good number. These 2 are exactly 2 inches. So the others will need to be trimmed down. But the first step that's most important is to get this angle right here correct. So I want to make sure that I get this angle correct. Now, I remember doing this challenge back in the summer of 2024, and here's what happened. Everyone was confused about this, especially the starting point. And a big YouTuber came out and they said, oh, this spot right here is a certain number. I'm not even going to say the number because that number was such that you actually had to cut a second sheet of paper. And I had already made this with the number I'm going to use today. And I was able to make the whole layout with one sheet of pattern paper and then the backgrounds. And so that I'm going to use my number again today. And in just a few seconds, I will say what the number is. The secret to getting this line correct here is to get this how far from the top on your left and then how far up from the bottom on your right. On the right hand page, it's going to extend over, but I have made this 2 times and I learned a lesson which I'm going to share about getting your upper right hand corner stripes correct. So we're going to start with where our first corner and our second corner are. And the number that worked very well for me was to come down 2 inches. So from the top on this mat, it says at 12. So we'll start at 10 inches is the mark. So 10 inches up from the bottom, 2 inches from the top. So our left corner starting point is at the 10-inch mark. Our mark up from the bottom or down from the top on our right side of our, this is the left-hand page now. Our right side mark is at the 8 inches from the top, 4 inches from the bottom. So our marks from the top, we come down 2 inches. On the left, we come down 8 inches on the right. So this ruler is meant to go over our mat like this. But when you turn it up, because the edge is straight along this, you actually have a little bit more space. And so I'm going to take advantage of that. And I'm going to put my ruler upside down. But I'm going to use the edge of this ruler to get me at my 8-inch point and my 10-inch point. And now, like I say over and over again, perfection isn't required at all. But boy, that did pretty good. I love this thing. I love this. It's a centering ruler. It fits over your 13 by 13 inch mat. And I'm going to show you just how well it did. I got right on the 10 inches. I got right on the 8 inches. So that little line is our guide. So what do we do with our right hand side paper? We come over and we put the two together. So we pull out our ruler. We align the ruler with the line that we made on our left side paper. And now we just extend our line to the bottom of this page. And so this is what we get. We get this line that looks about right. Our next thing is to draw a line, and we want this line, I've been trying it a couple times, to be parallel to this line. And using this ruler is going to make that job so much easier. I'm using this ruler face down. When you look at the ruler, you'll see the 0. And this line here is the 0. So that's an important line. I'm going 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so I want 9 inches. What I'm going to do, I'm turning my ruler over and I'm putting the 9 inches is this whole dark line right here. I am putting that whole dark line on the line I just drew so that I completely cover the line. 9 inches. Now I'm coming up here to where 0 is, and I'm going to put a pencil mark on this side of 0 and this side of 0. And that's going to give me the 2 points I need to draw a straight line that will be parallel to this line down here. So what I want is a line up here on the top side that'll be in the upper right hand corner that will be parallel to the line at the bottom. Now this sounds like it's more complicated than it really is. I'm just going very slow to explain this. I know math isn't everybody's favorite subject. So once again, real simply, I'm putting my 9-inch line covering the line I just drew that I extended from the left-hand page over. Now I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to put a mark here and here. And then I'm going to twist the ruler and draw a line through those 2 points. Now they probably will come out at the 8 and the 4. So I have a point here and I have a point here. I'm going to put my ruler and draw a line all the way extended through those 2 points. And I'm going to actually bring my ruler closer to me so I can see better. I'm using my ruler face up. And those points pretty much hit the 4-inch and the 8-inch line. But I feel comfortable. There will be one more thing we'll do to make sure our stripes are straight. Now I know that took a lot of time to explain, but the hard part is over. So here is our base page with our diagonal lines drawn. The next is to start putting our 2-inch strips down. So I have to cut my papers into 2-inch strips, and I'll do that and be right back. So I'm back with my strips now, and I sort of have them in order. And I'm going to begin with putting each one so that it is on this line. And this is a dry fit. So I have 6 strips right now, and I will need more, but I will cut off and then have some left to continue this down the sides. So what I'm going to do is use my repositionable tape. I'm going to set the right hand page aside and work on the left hand side by just getting these first strips adhered to my base page, and then we will continue after that. So there's a couple of camps. One camp is put the adhesive on the page, and then the other camp is put the adhesive on the strips. I'm going to start off with adhesive on the page. And this first strip is the one that sets the tone for everything. It sets the angle that everything will go in. And I do want to do my best to make sure that the end has a good covering of adhesive. I want my second strip to be both covering my pencil line, and if it's not perfect, I'll erase it, as well as a nice tight collection, a nice tight seal up against this area right here. And I see a bit of adhesive will hold that in place better. This one is going to go quite a ways. Okay, I have adhered down all 6 of my current strips. And so I'm going to turn it over and cut. Now there are many different techniques for cutting. The one that I'm going to use is going to be my ruler and craft knife. That's what I'm most comfortable using. So now I've turned everything over and it's time to trim off the extra paper. Now, a lot of people use their 12-inch trimmer to do that. I am not a fan of doing that. I tend to mess it up. So my preferred method for cutting excess paper away like this is a metal ruler and a craft knife. I get better results when I do this than when using the 12-inch trimmer. And then I can also use scissors, works also. I just feel that this way is more forgiving. And this one isn't going to come, well, I can cut away. Yeah. I like that personally better. I feel that for me it's a cleaner cut and doesn't destroy the paper. If you try this, I recommend putting a good firm pressure on the ruler. It has a cork background which prevents it from sliding. And so you can tell you've made a clean cut. And when you turn it over with that nice clean cut, it is so pretty. I did cut that. So that turned out lovely. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to have to cut off this. I'm going to need that and this, the green will have to be cut with a trimmer. So I'm going to cut the green with the trimmer so it will have a straight edge. So the green comes right there. So I'm going to fill up my little section here with a lot of repo. So here's where I stand right now. Do I have enough paper left to continue this pattern all the way to the bottom? And do I have enough to extend to the top? And the answer appears like is no, I do not. So let's see what remnants I can find in my scraps to keep this pattern going. I know there's plenty of yellow and green to go around, so I'm not worried about having enough. I just think that this pattern may not repeat every 6 pieces. So I'm going to go find more scraps to finish this. So I had to pause because I didn't have enough yellow. This was just shy of being enough. But I'm going to put it aside to go up here. And I pulled out my backup piece of yellow. And I'm going to place it here. There's enough of this green and enough of this yellow and enough of this green. And I can cover this little tip of yellow with this piece right here. So it will not go to waste. It'll get used here and up there. And so now I'm going to put the adhesive on and get these pieces adhered to the right hand side of the page. Now, if there was ever a hint that I would give to someone about making this layout, it would be do not be stingy with the adhesive. Now I'm going to, this yellow piece is going to cross both pages, so I'm going to have to get the scissors out and trim what's next. And what I'm going to do here, I'm literally going to just take my scissors and snip a little bit of this because the rest is going to be cut anyway. Cut a little snip right there. So now I have my whole lower part adhered. I'm going to turn it over. And the first thing I want to do is separate these 2 pages. Actually, maybe the first thing to do is to just get a straight line here. Now, I usually don't cut this way, but it actually is working pretty good. So the yellow paper cut great, but the green did not, but that's okay. I'm going to just cut off that little piece of green right there, and that's good. I have enough if I need to fix it a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now is the next part of this that I learned my lesson. I'm going to take one of my pieces. Let's start by lining up our pieces again to see what and where we want to place our pieces. So I have arranged this upper right corner and an idea of how I want my strips to go in this upper right corner. Now there are two things that you take into consideration, and one I don't care about, and that is I'm not trying to extend these up. I don't have this color to extend up. I don't have any more of this to extend up. So I'm not even going to try. If I had full sheets of paper, I may consider that. But in this case, where it is using scraps, trying to extend it does not matter. But what does matter to me is the angle that the paper is going. And to exaggerate, I don't want my papers going like that way when these are going this way. So it is important to me to get at least the angles going straight from here to here. So the way I want to do that is to make sure that I lay down the first strip at the angle that is as if it's extending up here. And so to do that, I'm going to, now this is my order. I want that first, that second, that third. And so I have my papers now in the order that I'm going to put them here. And so I want to have one of these strips put down at the very same angle. Once again, I'm using this ruler. I'm using it face down. Normally it goes like this, and the numbers you read are correct. Now the numbers are backwards. I'm lining up the bottom of the ruler. I'm lining it up to one of my strips of paper such that this angle is going to go up at the same angle. Now, I don't know which strip of paper. It looks like this is the strip. Looks like this is the strip that's going to go right here. And I have now placed this by having my ruler straight here. This piece should go on straight. So I'm going to tack down a lot of repositionable adhesive here. Put this strip on the line, on the pencil line, and lined up with my ruler. And now this looks like it goes straight. So now I'll put this here. Okay. Oh, this one. Oh, okay. So something unexpected happened. So the unexpected happened. I have this little corner right here that needs to be covered. And I have this little corner right here that needs to be covered. I need a piece of yellow right here. What I did, I have this tiny little piece of this green left. And so I'm going to use it. I think it's just right. It's going to fit here just right. Yes. So if I just put in some adhesive. So we have a little bit of green here, and then I just cut off a little bit of this yellow to put here. Now, as pretty as my lines are, you'll see from the sketch that you can put something over top of them, and we will figure that out next. Let's get these straight and then see where we go from there. I am amazed. I just love how this turned out. I loved using scraps of paper. I want to make two more of these. And I can. This is such a versatile layout. And so I don't know if I will find photos for it. I will look to see about making some type of strip for it. Um, so we'll see what we come up with. I'm considering this a completed base page. I put down some variety mat cards. This could be a nice title if that's the type of photos that I choose to put on it. And I really like this. So according to the sketch, I did not put my photos at all in the same configurations. I feel that these colors can really go in so many different subjects. And so I'm not worried at all about finding photos for it. And I absolutely love this layout. And I'm going to make it again because I have enough scraps, certainly. I want to try it with different size strips. And I also want to try it with a pattern paper background or a cardstock background. Well, there are so many variations, and this is a wonderful way to use up scraps. Once again, the link to this sketch is in the description box. So I'm thrilled. I did find photos to go on this layout. I'm going to take them down and give them just a little bit of decoration. It doesn't need much. And then I'll show the final layout. And I hope that you will give this layout a try. If you do, please leave a comment to let me know you're going to try this sketch. And please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and YouTube is saying there's another video that you may want to watch. So I hope you will watch it.